Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. The internet is a very vast place. You can find literally anything, and I am someone who spends a lot of time on the internet, obviously, and especially on social media. I have a social media addiction. It's a real problem. But one place on the internet in the realm of social media that I have never ventured before is the Whisper app, because it just scares me. It's a strange and terrifying place that I've never really ventured into before. And it is incredibly old. I didn't think really anyone used the Whisper app anymore, but I have been corrected. Apparently people do in fact use the Whisper app. In fact, hundreds of thousands of people use the Whisper app. And I want to know what it's about. I want to see what kind of shit goes down over on the Whisper app. Now, if you don't know what Whisper is, basically, you upload like an image with like a confession or something on top of the image, and then other people can reply to that with their own images, with their own text on top of it. It's just a really interesting sort of concept that amuses me so greatly. And so I spent some time like going through this app and like finding just some things that people say. Everyone loves to have anonymity. Like, they love to be anonymous and be able to say and do whatever they want without any consequences on the internet. And Whisper provides a really good place for that in such an odd format. And so people say the darndest of things. They confess odd things, and there's some interesting conversations that happen that I want to talk about. But while we're speaking about loving to be anonymous online and protecting your privacy online, I want to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Aura. Are you aware of how easy it is to find information about you online? Like, you can find your name, your phone number, your address, that of a lot of family members as well, way more easily than you would like to be able to be found. And your information is constantly being like bought and sold by data brokers. And you don't really ever think about it. You don't really ever think about how many people have access to your information and your data. And you certainly never consider the fact that people are going to be taking that and selling that for profit. So with Aura, it will look for where all your information is being sold, and it will let you know and give you the option to opt out of that. And once you opt out of your information being sold on any particular site, legally, they have to stop selling your information. So it is keeping you safe from like hundreds of websites that are potentially selling your data. So with Aura, you can very easily opt out of your information being sold and keep that as safe and as private as possible. And another benefit of doing that means that it cuts out getting a lot of spam calls and spam emails and etc., because it is so annoying to constantly be getting spam calls trying to get money out of you. And they're just exhausting, and I'm sick of it, and I know you're sick of it too. So Aura can help alleviate that problem, which is fantastic. What a relief. If you would like to try Aura for yourself because you value your privacy as much as I value mine, then you can use the link in my description, aura.com/Kiwi, and you will get your first 2 weeks completely free. I believe that it is so worth it, and it is such a good price for everything that you get as well. So I highly recommend it. Thank you, Aura, for sponsoring today's video, and let's get into some interesting anonymous posts on the Whisper app. So this is a photo of someone's like side with a dream catcher tattoo that says, "What dream do you have that will never come true?" And the replies are interesting. Like, the first one is meeting a half-decent woman who's willing to settle for a weirdo like me, which, okay, sure, go off. But then the second one is wife's sister. And I don't think we should be dreaming about our wife's sister. Sir, get a divorce. If your dream is to be with your wife's sister, I think that a conversation needs to be had and a divorce needs to take place. But worse still, we have stepdaughter. That is potentially a jailable offense, I think. I'm not taking jail off the table for this one. In fact, I'm putting it very much on the table. Jail, and also a divorce immediately. Preferably, I don't actually care about the order. Do both of those things. Thank you. The stepdaughter fantasy is so fucking creepy and fucked up. It is so beyond me. Men just need to not, Yeah. Women choose the bear because they have no survival instinct. Okay, so I'm sure you all know about the bear versus man debate that has been happening recently. And of course, I have many, many thoughts on this topic, but I'm sure you all already know what my thoughts are, and I don't think we need to get into a whole conversation about this. But I'm sharing because the reply is so funny. It says, another small wrist beta male who just doesn't get he's the man in the scenario. And it's on top of a photo of a beta fish. And that's so funny. That's so funny to me. I've never heard the term small wrist beta male. I don't entirely know what small wrist really implies or means. I feel like I might be missing something. Maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know. But calling someone a beta male over the top of a picture of a beta fish is objectively so funny to me. That's so funny. And this as a response is true. You are the man in this scenario. Absolutely. And the insult is just so funny. It's not something I would ever think to say. To live in this world where calling someone a beta male is an insult is just so funny. So funny. And you know that this is the type of man who would be genuinely affected by this as an insult. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I remember when a guy ghosted me. 7 months later, he sends a message saying, "Hey, how are you?" Then another guy ghosted me, contacts me 1 year after, ghosting, saying the same thing and apologizing. And the reply to this is a photo of someone holding a bunch of balloons with the quote, "Be weird, be random, be who you are," and saying, "People are weird." This reminds me, this is so funny because something like this did happen to me back a few years ago. That was so funny. It made me laugh so much. In 2020, pre-COVID, I was on dating apps a bit. I was going out on a lot of casual dates and whatever at that sort of period of time. And there was this one guy that I messaged a few times, and we were just chatting or whatever. It was "How are you?" And I was "I'm good, how are you?" And he didn't reply. And this was March 2020, not even February 2020. And then in September 2021, July 20, that sort of time, mid-end of the year of 2021, I get a message being "Sorry I'm late. Hope you survived COVID." So funny. I was sitting in my bedroom with Kat. We were on beanbags watching something, and I just get this text at 10 o'clock at night and just burst out laughing because that's so funny. How did you think of me? How did this come across your mind? We never even met up. We messaged twice. Our message history is approximately 6 messages. How did you end up here? What what inspired you to come send me a message after a year and a half? So funny. So funny. The reply is so right. People are weird, and we should be weird, be random, be who you are. Now, something I did not know about Whisper is that they're community pages. So you can just go into these communities and post things that are related to that. And one of their biggest communities is LGBTQ plus coming out, which has almost 400,000 people in it. And it's just people posting shit about being gay or asking for advice about coming out and whatever. But then you also get a few just weird, irrelevant posts in there because of course you do. But my favorite post that I came across was this one. "I'm straight, cisgender, white, and homophobic," with the fire emoji and the speaking emoji. And then the reply is, "I am not," crying emoji. "My friend took my phone," with a clip art of just a face being that hasn't been used in the past 15 years. And this is so funny. We all remember being kids and having our friends steal our phones and like post on Facebook or tweet or like send a message to some random guy in our class or whatever, like professing your undying love and like fighting to get your phone back, etc. Like if I was to look through my phone history at that time, it would have been an absolute mess. And it was always so funny, like sending a message to just some random guy in your class because your friends were like, I have a crush on you, or just like sending whatever and having to be like, sorry, my friend stole my phone. But to do that on the Whisper app is like next level, so funny. Like who thinks of that? Like getting your friend's phone and posting on like an anonymous app being like, I'm straight, cis, white and homophobic. And that's the thing you do to like tease your friend. That's so cute and so funny. And to have the reply being, I am not, my friend took my phone, is extra amusing when you think about the fact that this kid had to sit and like Google like sad clip art and then find the image of the clip art they wanted to use before posting that response instead of just deleting the post. It's so funny. It's so funny. God, being like a young teenager, tween, was what a time, you know? Like, what a time. We also have just some, like, good replies to bad takes. Like, this one says, as a Christian, I don't accept transgenders. And the people in the replies were like, okay, well, the Pope does. And then as a moral human being, I don't accept religion. And then as an asshole, I don't either. Like, it's just, I love that everyone just comes for these people being like, hey, you know what? Fuck you. We're all teaming up on the Whisper app to fight the transphobes. As we should. You know, it's the best use of the anonymous app is come on here and just yell at people for being bigoted. As you should. They're trying to get away with being a bigot because it's anonymous? Too bad. You can't do that. People are still gonna get mad at you. Here we have, on a scale of 1 to 10, how gay are you? And my favorite reply, just like ever, is one that says just the number 4. And it's like 3 images of Tobias, aka 4, from Divergent. And like, I did not expect to see a Divergent reference in the year of 2024. Like, a Divergent reference on Whisper. Oh, is it 2014? Did I go back a full decade? Like, what is happening here? How are we making Divergent references in 2024? Like, I am all for it. I am here for it. Bring it back. Bring back the, like, bad book memes instead of, you know, the book talk that we've got going on now. Bring back the book fandoms from, like, 2014, because that was a time. That was a time that existed. And I didn't expect to see it here in the big year of 2024, but I'm so happy that I did. This is someone asking a really obviously important question that should be totally asked to the internet, which is stroke or sleep? And the reply is just, don't wish for a stroke. You might get one. Fair enough, you know? Yeah, that's absolutely what was intended by the question and the absolute correct way to respond. You're so right. Stroke or sleep, you should definitely choose to sleep over having a stroke. Like, you don't want a stroke, I promise you. So definitely sleep. And that's definitely what the question meant, obviously. This is one thing that's so odd about Whisper, is that there are so many people who seem to like use it as a dating app almost. They're like looking for a married man to talk to. I am a 29-year-old woman looking for a 29-year-old man who wants to chat with me. And it's so strange. You're using the Whisper app to try to hook up with people, like the Whisper app to find hookups. You realize how absurd that is, right? And like me personally, I wouldn't, like, the people who are also searching for matches on Whisper are not really the people I want to be going on dates with. But I guess if I'm one of those people, then maybe it would work out. I just feel like Whisper built relationships just don't feel stable. They just don't feel like good. It doesn't feel like a good place to start. Imagine like going out on a date with someone. Imagine it working and people ask you like, oh, how did you meet? And you have to look them in the eye and be like, oh, we met on Whisper. I mean, it would make a good wedding speech, I guess. It's so funny because I'm not like against that happening on any other social media. Not really. Like, people meet on Twitter, that's cute. You meet on Instagram, good for you. You meet on Whisper, I'm judging you so hard. This one just reads, the urge to keep him in my basement forever. Has 52 likes too. Should I call someone? Like, should we be worried? Probably. Why? The urge to keep him in your basement forever. I think that we should maybe not be thinking about keeping people in your basement forever. But like, who do you want to keep in your basement forever? That's not important. And actually, that doesn't even matter. Don't keep people in your basement, please. I hate when a man is ran through and still not good at hitting it. Like, why are you not learning? You know, this is a really good question, actually. This is like a really good point because it's a real problem. These men do just like sleep around, or they'll sleep around, they'll have sex with a bunch of women and just still not know what the fuck they're doing. They still have no idea about pleasure or communication or anything. And it is absurd. It is ridiculous. Bro, sort your shit out. Ask questions. Listen to guidance. Read body language and cues and like have a conversation. It is absurd to me that you can like have a body count of like 30 and still not be able to find the clit. You know what I mean? And it happens way too often, like so much. And I guess it's because if you're only sleeping with someone like one time, you haven't really taken the time to like ask or care or learn anything. You kind of just move on from person to person and then like don't take anything away from it, which, you know, you could still take the time to learn from each person, but I guess as this reply says, because I don't care what you're enjoying, I'm here for me. And I feel like that kind of sums it up, you know, that makes sense. Wish I was my baby dad, no worries, no nothing, just plain fucking useless. Call him out. Good for you. Call him out. I know that he's not reading it and also no one else read this, but you know, call him out. I can't, that's so cutthroat too. Just like being like, my kid's dad is fucking useless. He does fuck all. He has no worries, no responsibility. Fuck him. Yeah, fair. So this one is mainly funny just because of the image that is used. So it just says, girls, I'll tell you who looks best in a group pic, which is objectively just a weird thing to offer, to be like, hey girls, send me photos of you and your friends and I'll like rate you, which is absurd. And I don't know why you'd think you get any replies. But the funniest thing about it is that the image they used is a bunch of minion cupcakes. 12 cupcakes decorated like minions. That is the image they chose to use to ask women to reply with photos of their friends. What? Why? What inspired you to use this image? Like in general, what inspired you to ask this question? But this image is possibly the funniest one you could have chosen. This asks, what's your controversial opinion? And the reply is rather concerning. And it's, fam isn't morally wrong when everyone's a consenting adult and no one's having kids. And I just like, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I think regardless of whether you're consenting adults and regardless of whether you do or don't want kids, you shouldn't sleep with family members. You just like shouldn't. I don't know why that doesn't like gross you out. Especially if there is an age gap, right? Like even if you're a consenting adult, being like in your 20s even, if we age up to 20, and then sleeping with like a parent would be the worst, but even like an auntie or an uncle, like someone of the generation above you, even if you're both adults, so inappropriate, and still grooming was involved in order for you to like get to that point. Like this person like was in your life from when you were a child and like watched you grow up and had an influence in your life to some capacity. And the idea of wanting to hook up with someone that you watched grow up is just like so vile. So vile. And then like it's just icky. I don't think you should. I just really don't think you should. Although my opinion changes if you are unaware that you were family members when you go into it. Then I don't think it's an issue because like you didn't know. So like even when it comes to like siblings who were like adopted to separate families, never met each other, and they meet and they don't know that they're siblings and they get together and they get married or whatever, like I think that's fine if they don't have kids, because, you know, they didn't know. Like, personally, I don't know if it's something I could live with myself, but, like, I don't think there's anything morally wrong with it. But it's very different if you've, like, grown up with people and if you go into it with that information, you know? Like, I think it's a bit different. Immediate family, absolutely not, never okay. Doesn't even matter if there's like not even blood relation. Like if you are adopted siblings, still not okay. If it's a step sibling or step parent, still not okay. Unless like with step siblings, you became step siblings when you were like adults or like even teenagers. But other than that, yeah, no, I think it's not morally correct. This next one is just like a true take. This is just something I think we should talk about, and that is just very real. And it's just committed to being alone for however long it takes to make sure I never settle for less than I deserve again. They're called red flags for a reason. And this is just true. This is just a fact of life. This is just the way we should live life. And I just wanted to share because so many people do just settle and think that it's better to be in an unhappy relationship than it is to be like happy by yourself. That's not true. And I just needed to say it. It's better to be alone than to be in a relationship and unhappy. And the sooner you learn that, the better your life is going to be. So I just want to take a moment to remind everyone about that. This just says, why is having sex so good? The best part about this, once again, is the image, because it's a toothpaste tube that has like a face and arms, and the toothpaste is coming out of like its butt. Like it's like shitting toothpaste onto a toothbrush. And I have so many questions. And the first one is being like, how did you find this? Like, what did you search to find this image? Why does this image exist? Like, who drew this? And then like, how did you find it? And why did you find it? And then why did you choose this image for this post? So many questions. And I really actually don't even know if I want the answer to any of them. It's a horrifying image. I hate it. I hate it so much. And then, like I said, there are so many posts of people just like asking to date. So this one's just, my husband doesn't know I'm here, winky face, discreet flirting, I love married dad bod. And this person was posting this like same exact thing like once every hour. And like even when it comes to scamming on the internet, like, because no one is posting this and genuinely, you know, looking for a relationship or whatever, I don't think. But like Whisper app seems like the worst place to like catfish someone. Like it just doesn't feel like it would be very effective. Like you aren't seriously coming on to Whisper being like, my husband doesn't know I'm here flirting, message me, I really want to date a married man. And like, does that work? Because if that works, that's so sad. The desperation of the married men who like messaged these people is like absurd. And if this works, if married men get catfished through the Whisper app, they deserve it. Honestly, if they get like all of their money stolen from them, they deserve it. I'm not one to victim blame, but in this instance, I am victim blaming. If you meet someone who uses like a stock image of like a cowgirl on Whisper, just being like, I love married men, you should message me, and you like give them money, that's on you. That's entirely on you, and you absolutely deserve it. Anyway, this is all I have today. I think the Whisper app is like so hard to go through because there's no way to sort it by like popularity or anything like that. It kind of just comes up like as it's posted, and so many people post on this app, which is absurd to me. So it's really hard to dig through and like find things. because a lot of it is just repeating the same thing or it's just so pointless. So I hope that you enjoyed these ones that I was able to gather here. It's a bit more fun than my videos usually are because I've needed a little bit of an emotional break, and I thought that maybe you deserved a bit of an emotional break as well. But I hope that you did enjoy it. Maybe I will do another one of these. Maybe next time I'll take some submissions from you. Like if you see any Whisper app posts, then you can DM them to me or tweet them at me. My Twitter is thatqueerkiwi, or you can DM them to me on Instagram, thequeerkiwi, or you can email them to me, dearkiwi with a Q @gmail.com, and I'll like compile them together. But anyway, I hope that you did enjoy. Massive thank you to my Sprout and Above patrons whose names are up on the screen right now. I appreciate you greatly. And a huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Bobby, Josh, Mandy, Ikazel, Jessica, Eldo, Danielle, Raven, Elias, Chris, Samuel, and Knitting Menace. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. If anyone else would like to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/savvycat. Click the top link in the description. For £1 a month, you get my videos a day early, and then for £3 and up, you get things such as outtakes, bonus mini podcasts, live streams, vlogs, and more. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, thequeerkiwi, and Twitter, thatqueerkiwi. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah.
When you close your eyes, you replace the darkness with light. You replace